Chances are that if you're watching this video, you're either planning to get a dog or you already have one, but just don't know what to do with it. How will you train it? Why is it acting so funny? Maybe this wasn't such a good idea. Well, before you let those questions scare you off, you must know, dogs are...
You have to ask Jake. Jake is the mayor of the doggy park here.
It's another human because each dog has their own personality. It's amazing.
Very loyal, and they're good with children. They're also very intelligent.
When people say that dogs are a man's best friend, they really mean it. It all starts from the moment you pick your dog. When you first lay eyes on those puppies' adorable faces, those big eyes and cute noses that we can't help falling in love with, it's easy to take it with no questions asked. However, there are many questions that need to be considered. Is my home big enough? That puppy may be small now, but that furry St. Bernard will weigh more than you in less than 2 years. Have you considered whether you'll be willing to take this Labrador for a jog around the block after your 8-hour shift? And will you have time to keep your Maltese's fine fur trimmed month after month? So, I think you get the idea that picking a dog requires more than finding the most adorable ball of love. We want to help you pick the type of dog that will bring you nothing but joy. So let's get started. If your job requires you to work long hours, how long will your pet be stuck in an empty house? So you know, dogs are pack animals. They need and enjoy socializing with other dogs throughout the day. So, like humans, a dog's idle paws will look for trouble. And come on, how would you feel being stuck in your home day after day? Pretty bad, huh? And this is how dogs feel too. They will protest by chewing on your furniture or your brand new shoes. Dogs may also become aggressive towards other dogs and even other people. So, if you want a happy and sociable companion, you need to think about how much time you would be able to give it. Christine and her daughter Isabella have always wanted a dog, and they're looking for the right one. But do they really know what they want? There are a couple of things to consider when you're picking your dog. We have Dr. Bo from Country Club Animal Hospital to give us some professional advice on what we should know before picking a dog.
Often people will be out and about shopping or doing some family activity, and they'll pop into a pet store, they'll see a dog on the playground or wherever, and they'll go, I want one of them. And they haven't researched the dog. So by not researching the dog, they may get an inappropriate animal for their lifestyle. Hence, we should talk about the different types of dogs. For example, broad classifications we think of are large breed dogs, medium-sized dogs, small, and toy dogs. They all have different lifestyles, they all have different requirements, so it's important that you don't do love at first sight, which often occurs.
One thing to always keep in mind is that every breed is perfect for someone, but no breed is suitable for everyone. This is why it's important to consider a dog's size, activity level, and even what kind of coat would be easier for you to maintain. Some dogs' fur requires monthly maintenance. How willing will you be to groom your dog twice a month? Jason owns a golden retriever, and he grooms his dog once a week.
So once a week, after the bath, I give him a nice brush down and clean him up, and keeps him looking good, gives him a nice coat.
The American Kennel Club has divided all breeds into 7 classifications, which may help you narrow down your search. The classifications are sporting dogs, hound dogs, working dogs, terrier dogs, toy dogs, non-sporting dogs, and herding dogs. Before you let yourself get baffled, let us break down what characteristics classify each group. Labradors and Golden Retrievers are the most popular breeds in the sporting dog group. These dogs require lots of exercise because they have a lot of energy to burn. So if your idea of fun is sitting in front of the TV, then a sporting dog will only drive you crazy as it tries to get you to play with it. If you're an active individual who enjoys the outdoors, then a sporting dog would make a well-rounded companion. Under the hound dog category, you will find the hunting breeds. This group consists of scent hounds, which are dogs who hunt by scent, and sight hounds, which are dogs who hunt by, you guessed it, sight. Common hound dogs are Dachshunds, Beagles, and Bloodhounds. Like sporting dogs, these hound dogs have a lot of energy to burn, but most breeds are fairly calm while indoors.
This dog loves to lay on the couch, and if I give him the remote control, that's all he wants to do is lay around and watch TV or stick right by my side. And they're sweet, they're gentle, they get along with all dogs, they get along with cats, they're great with children. Every child that meets him, like this, all the time. It's just fabulous. They're fabulous pets.
Moving on to the working dogs. These breeds are often strong, large, and energetic qualities that are necessary for a good worker.
Siberian Huskies are extremely active animals. They were bred to pull sleds, so they need lots of energy, they need lots of play, things to keep them distracted.
But like a good worker, these dogs know when to relax.
I like working dogs because they tend to be the largest breeds. I like large dogs. You also can expect them not to be as hyperactive as other breeds, perhaps as the sporting breeds or as the hounds that need a lot more running around. At the end of the day, he curls up in a corner and he's a great big rug, and I like that.
For those of you who are looking for an attentive and easily portable accessory, then a toy dog is your category of choice. They make excellent companions.
You can take them anywhere. I take my dogs anywhere with me. They're my best companion.
I love toy breeds because they're more fun, they're smaller, you can do so many things with them.
Now don't let their vulnerable appearance fool you. Toy dogs are one of the brightest groups in this classification. And while they do not require a lot of exercise, Chihuahua, Pugs, and Poodles are little balls of energy, so be prepared. The well-postured breeds in the Terrier dog group usually make the best house pets. This is because their medium size makes them ideal for smaller spaces. A strong characteristic in these dogs is that they know what they want, and they're not afraid to go after it. Nevertheless, they're quick learners and they respond well to training. One thing you can surely say about the non-sporting group of dogs is that they are top-notch companions. As for categorizing them by appearance, this group is as varied as they come. When it comes to getting a dog in this category, it is highly recommended that you do your research on your breed of interest, or ask an expert to see if it's the right dog for you. And in the seventh category, we find the newest grouping, the herding dogs. These breeds actually once belonged to the category of working dogs, but their ability to control large groups of animals set them apart. So if you're a natural leader who's looking for a sidekick, go get yourself a herding dog. Every now and then, breeds of dogs mix, and out comes what is popularly known as a mutt, which only means that it is a one-of-a-kind dog. A mutt is actually quite exciting to own because you never know what you're gonna get. It's always surprising to see how they will look and act as they get older. A mixed breed can sometimes be stronger, healthier, and even more intelligent than many pure breeds. A pet rescue location or the Humane Society are usually good spots to find this interesting category of dogs. While dogs are separated into 7 different categories, they can be simplified into 2 very simple characteristics: active and passive dogs. The dogs that fall into the active dogs category are the sporting dogs, herding dogs, and working dogs. Remember that these dogs have a great deal of energy, and it is your job to keep them burning this energy. Passive dogs are hound dogs, sporting dogs, terrier dogs, and toy dogs. These are your more calm and relaxed dogs. They're the ones who will sit by your side while you read or watch TV. This doesn't mean that they won't have their spurts of energy, but compared to active dogs, they'll give you more time to pick your feet up and relax. Of course, if you make the right decision in picking a dog that best suits you, no matter what the breed, this dog will bring you lots of love and fun. So just remember to choose wisely. There are different places where you can get a dog. There are pet stores, adoption facilities like the Humane Society, and rescue programs. You can also get a dog from a breeder. Here's Dr. Bo to tell us about our different options.
There's a big controversy in that because you have different options. You have the option of a pet store, a private breeder, or a friend, and then you also have the Humane Society and adoption agencies like that, the SPCA. It's controversial in the sense that you want to choose a pet that's healthy, well-bred, and as free of disease as possible. Pet stores are a tough call. Some of you may have heard of the puppy mill. Not all pet stores deal with puppy mills, but the puppy mills are there, and you don't know where your dog will potentially come from sometimes. Often those dogs are not in ideal conditions that you would want your companion to come from.
People should consider going to a public shelter because, first of all, they have a tremendous variety of dogs to choose from. And in addition, there are many of those animals who are surrendered by their owners, so we do know if they're good with children or what their past history was. When you adopt from a shelter, you're saving a life because open admission or county shelters accept all the animals, and so you really are saving them and making a difference for them. It's much less expensive than purchasing a dog. You can get a purebred at a shelter for sometimes $60 or $70, and that includes their vaccinations, spay, neuter, and identification. Susie is just one example of a purebred, a typical purebred that's left here at Animal Services. We get every breed: Shih Tzus, Poodles, Bichons, German Shepherds, St. Bernards. Hey, Susie! Every kind of dog you can imagine. So this is just one from today. Every day at Animal Services, we receive over 100 animals. And last year, we accepted 34,163 animals at this shelter.
Breeders tend to help guide you as far as the dog's needs. And most and often, breeders will not give you an animal if they don't feel you're suited for it. And that's what you want. You want a breeder that really cares for you. Because most breeders love what they do. And they want that companionship and that relationship that you're going to have with this pet be a happy one.
For those of you interested in getting your dog from the Humane Society, here's Melanie to explain the process.
We make perfect matches, that there is an animal out there for every person. So what we try to do is when someone comes in and wants to adopt, we try to understand what their situation is. Where do they live? Do they live in a condo? Do they live in a home? Do they have children? Who's going to be taking care of the pet? We try to understand the whole picture of how a pet fits into these people's lives. And then we make our best recommendations for which pets we think match, because we know our pets very well. We know a lot of times if they've been owned already, what their history is, if they've lived with children before, if they get along with cats. So we're really better able to make that perfect match, that relationship from the get-go.
Now that you've learned about picking the right dog, and even where to get it, it's time to remember that to get along with your dog, you have to learn to understand it. And how do you learn to understand your dog? Well, you have to become one.
To really understand dogs, you have to, almost become a dog. When we first got Buddy, he was every day we'd come home from work and we'd see something destroyed on the front of the front of the house. He'd bring us a toothpaste tube or a paper towel roll, and it was very frustrating at first. Be nice to Niles. It was very frustrating at first because we didn't really understand why he was doing it, and when we thought about it a little bit, it was the fact that he was was bored and wanted someone to play with, and during those 8 hours or 10 hours when we were away from school.
Do you know what an alpha dog is? In dog packs, there's always an alpha dog who guides and protects the pack. So it's your job to become that alpha dog in your pet's eyes.
I am the alpha dog for my dogs because they need to respect their owner. And if that respect is there, then you're living in your life with them will be a lot better than if they want to control you. You certainly should not be controlled by your dogs.
Now, some dogs, like Rottweilers, will see a lack of leadership and run with it, meaning that it will still protect you, but will see you as the pet and walk all over you. You don't want that, do you? To keep you from heading down that path, here's Pedro to explain how a dog views his owner.
They see you as part of the pack, okay? So if you're not a pack leader, they will not treat you like a pack leader. You're supposed to let them know that you're alpha, you're number one, you're the leader, you're everything. The way they learn is follow the leader, okay? If my leader is a leader, I will follow him everywhere. If my leader is a weak person that can't tell me what to do, says no all day long and doesn't do anything about it, I'm not gonna listen to that person, okay? So if you're not a leader, sometimes by mistake, you will create an aggressive dog, okay? Because if you're not the leader, the dog will take charge and they will become the leader.
Now, there are two very important rules that, trust us, you want to have memorized and ready to enforce before your dog sets his little paws in your home. Make sure you've got your pen and paper ready, because here's Pedro with these rules.
Constant supervision and or confinement. And what that basically means, guys, is that you have to either keep them in your eyesight or they have to be put away somewhere, preferably a crate or a bathroom or a kitchen. Just like we keep babies in their cribs when they're young, we don't let them run around loose in the house, you have to do the exact same thing with puppies. If you feel guilty, which everybody feels guilty about crating their puppy, especially the smaller ones and the cuter ones, everybody feels guilty about that. But what you're going to avoid is your dog eating and chewing your whole entire house and your property. You're also going to avoid the dog peeing and pooping inside your house, and you're going to teach them how to be outside of their crate. By the time they're like 10, 11, 12 months of age, you can get rid of your crate completely and your dog just lives in your house and respects your house.
One thing you definitely want to do before your dog's homecoming is to sit with your family or whoever you live with to talk about the rules and arrangements that will have to be enforced. Besides the two rules given to you by Pedro, here are some other rules to add to your list. No jumping on people. No digging holes in the yard. No barking at passersby. No begging. No chewing on objects except dog toys. And most importantly, no biting, even in play. If you find yourself in a situation where you need to correct these behaviors, just go to the tips section of this DVD so that we can give you a hand in doing so. Now, if you have a baby, there are some steps you can take to make sure your puppy and baby create a strong bond from the beginning. You want to get one of the baby's blankets and put it in your puppy's crate so that it could get accustomed to the baby's scent. This will allow the puppy to see the baby as part of its pack. If you purchase an older dog, you need to find out if it's accustomed to children. This is something you should ask the person who is selling you the dog. Usually, rescue and adoption programs have a good idea of the dog's personality towards kids and adults. You should start training your pup from the moment you have your first contact with it. Keep in mind that your puppy can start being trained at 9 to 12 weeks old. You can help your puppy get used to a training session by putting a collar on it so that it could get used to the feeling. Here's Pedro again to tell us the most important things that you can do to start your training.
Training your dog is a very important aspect on any dog's life. Being able to train your dog will ensure that you and your companion will have the best relationship possible. Being able to train your dog will let you take your dog anywhere you want to take them. You'll be able to communicate with them at any time. You'll be able to teach them whatever it is that you want to teach them. Dogs will learn anything and everything that you teach them as long as we communicate with them the proper way and treat them with a lot of love and a lot of respect. They do not respond well to being treated bad or being forced to do anything. So it's important to get proper training for your puppy, especially something like basic obedience. Every single dog can benefit from learning basic obedience, and that will ensure that you and your puppy have a fantastic life. You'll respect each other, you'll love each other, and everything will be very smooth.
Dogs are creatures of habit, so creating a routine in their behaviors is the best way to train them. Think about it. If you make them eat and go to the bathroom at the same times every day, then this is the habit that they will build. Remember, the bond between your dog and you can be very special, but this depends on how well behaved your dog is. Now, if you're constantly having to reprimand your dog for misbehaving, your dog will never see you as a friend, and you will always see it as a burden. If you have a well-behaved dog, you will always want it around you, making it a true companion. So if you want a happy, well-trained best friend, then building a routine is definitely the way to go. Just as you get your common cold about twice a year, there are many diseases that your puppy or dog can get. So it's your job to make sure that it has all of its necessary shots. When you purchase your pup, you should get a record from the breeder or the location, which will detail what shots it has received. It's also very important that you take your dog to the vet as soon as you get it. Here's Dr. Bo to further explain the situation.
When you bring a dog, when you get a dog, the first thing you want to do is you want to have it checked out by a doctor to make sure that the dog's healthy. The last thing you want to do is get a dog that's sick. It happens often, but veterinarians will definitely help you.
And also before you get attached. As sad as this may sound, it is very necessary since your dog may have a genetic disease, such as hip dysplasia, a skin disorder, or another illness. If you do find yourself in a situation where your dog is found to have a genetic disease, then it is okay for you not to keep it. This may sound inhumane, but think of it this way. You may not have the time and money to deal with whatever problem the dog may have. So it is better that it stay in the hands of someone who could give it the proper care. Remember how we told you that you have to pick your dog according to your lifestyle? Well, we hope you remember because this golden rule applies to the grooming of your dog. Some breeds require more grooming and brushing than others. So if you do not have a lot of downtime, a high fur maintenance dog may not be for you. Now, Labradors do not require a lot of brushing, but they are active animals who like to swim, hike, and get dirty. So a Labrador will require a lot of bathing.
I personally do my own grooming for my dogs, so it's actually quite a process. You have to brush them out with a few different types of brushes, give them a bath, dry them, and then you can start cutting. Because they have a wire coat, so it's just a little bit more coarse than regular dog hair. So it takes a little bit more in the grooming department, but you know, it's just a few hours here and there and it's all over.
Most dogs need to be groomed 2 to 4 times a month, depending on their lifestyle. Now, when we say 2 to 4 times per month, we mean 2 to 4 times per month. Bathing your dog too often may cause their skin to get dry, which may lead to future problems. So make sure to consider how much time you'll have for grooming before picking your dog.
The Cairn Terrier actually has a double coat. It's a longer hair on the top and a shorter hair on the bottom. It requires it to be stripped instead of just cut, so it's a lengthy process. I don't do it. My girlfriend takes care of that. Kind of happy because it takes a couple hours.
Grooming my dogs is one of the reasons why I got this breed. They need absolutely no grooming. They are one of the few dogs that don't smell doggy. That was one of the things my husband was concerned about, a smelly doggy house, and so that's why I got this breed as well. So minimum grooming.
Getting down to the action. Grooming your dog can be fun or it can be disastrous. Let's start with the basics. You need grooming tools that are specially designed for your breed of dog. Tools consist of nail trimmers, dog shampoos, brushes and combs, scissors, toothpaste, and a toothbrush. Once you have the necessary tools, it's time to get your dog clean. The first thing you want to do is put a piece of absorbent cotton in your dog's ears to keep the water out. You should then brush your dog's fur before getting it wet. This will keep the fur from getting tangled. Then comes the hardest stage, getting your dog thoroughly wet. A dog will usually try to run away, but you have to do your best to keep it still. Once you've gotten it calmed down, you can gently massage the shampoo all over its coat. You then want to rinse it twice. To dry your dog, dry off all excess water with a dry towel. Then blow dry his fur as you comb through it. This will keep your dog's fur from getting tangled and it will get the fur dry quickly. Like children, most dogs hate to have their nails clipped, but unfortunately for them, it must be done. To ease the process, you can first get your dog accustomed to having his paws handled. One way to do this is to hold the treat up to him, then grab his paws. Once you've grabbed each paw, give him the treat. He'll probably be dying for it at this point. You want to tap the clippers on the nail before you cut and only trim 1 millimeter off each nail. Very important, do not cut the quick, which is the nail bed. If you do so, your dog will start bleeding, and it will be painful. Then, of course, your dog will always associate pain with nail trimming, and the process will be forever difficult. As for your dog's ears, you want to check them regularly by lifting the ear flap outwards and up, which will give you a clear view into its ear canal. You want to look for brown wax or infections. To keep the ears clean, you can once again get a damp cotton tissue or ear wipe to gently rub off any dirt in the ear flap or outer parts. Never push anything into your dog's ears, because like human ears, their eardrums can be easily damaged. If you find that there is wax or dirt deep inside the ear, it is best to ask your vet how to get rid of it. Your teeth are made out of bone. This is the same for dogs. So if you have to brush your teeth to keep them healthy, then your dog has to do the same. They can get tooth decay and even acquire gum diseases if their teeth are not cleaned properly. Some toys, such as raggers and hard chews, will help floss the surface of your dog's teeth. But do not depend on this as a substitute for a good old-fashioned toothbrushing. You want to buy a brush made for dogs. You also want to make sure that you use toothpaste made for dogs. Once they're ready, put a little paste on the brush and lift up one side of your dog's lips. You want to work from the front to the back, sweeping the brush from the gum down the tooth. This will remove any remaining traces of food and will also gently massage the gums. Although we've given you tips on how to groom your dog, some breeds have fur that is best kept by a professional groomer. In order to find the right person to handle your dog, you should look for some qualifications. The groomer must be patient and kind with your dog. He or she should also understand your dog's particular needs and requirements according to its breed. The grooming environment should be clean and calm. Picking the right dog for you and training it takes some effort. However, once your dog is settled in your home and in its ways, it needs no more than a collar, a leash, one bowl for water, and one for food. Every dog needs at least one toy to keep it busy while you're away, or too preoccupied to give it attention. Chewy toys, also known as chewies, will keep your pet distracted while removing plaque and stimulating its gums. Squeakies are most dogs' favorite toys because they are plush and the noise they make is pleasing to your dog's ears. Fetchies are a great way to keep your dog in shape. Besides being a way to get your dog's heart racing, playing fetch will help establish you as the pack leader, since you are ordering it to go after something to bring it back to you. Another way to keep your dog in good shape is to give it the right food. For information on what type of dog food to buy, go to the tips section of this DVD's menu. If you plan on keeping your dog outdoors, you will have to purchase a doghouse which will suit their size. You will also have to take some safety precautions. Ideally, your fenced yard should be away from the street. Also, a solid 6-foot tall fence will keep your dog from being teased or stolen by strangers who walk by, and would also give him less reasons to bark. As your dog's bed, a crate is usually a perfect sleeping place for indoor dogs. Just make sure it has a comfy pillow to lay on. You can also use the crate to transport your dog in a vehicle or even on planes. Crates are also a great place to put your dog when it needs a time out. The enclosed space will give it time to reflect on what it has done. A crate will also make a puppy feel more safe than, say, next to your bed in the open air. Now, a rule of thumb when purchasing a crate, it should be big enough so that your dog can stand up, turn around, and lay down in it. Don't make your dog's bed feel cramped, because like you, a dog's sleep is very pleasurable and necessary. When it comes to getting your dog bowls for food and water, remember that they cannot tell how glamorous or expensive an object is. Most bowls come in either plastic or stainless steel. The only difference between both is that a steel bowl will retain its good appearance since it can handle chewing and other abuses better than plastic. Your dog's everyday collar, the one you put a tag on, should be buckled, flat, or rolled, and made of nylon web or leather. These leashes come in all types of colors, and like our clothes, a dog's collar is its form of decoration. The most commonly and misused training collar is the slip or choke collar. To learn how to use this collar correctly, please go to the tips section of the DVD menu. And please remember, leashes come in all sizes, so make sure you get one that fits your dog comfortably And when your dog grows, adjust the leash size or buy it a new one. We've given you a lot of tips on how to care for your furry friend. But there is one golden rule that should not, cannot, and don't dare forget. Give your dog a whole lot of love, because that's what you'll get in return. Have fun.